I stand with them.
You stand with
Yes.
them? In what way?
In any way possible.
You stand with the fact that someone has threatened to kill and not treat a Jewish patient?
All right, and what about all the kids that Jews have killed?
What an insane 30 hours it has been. I'm going to update you on everything surrounding the video that shocked the world. But just before I get into it, I want to thank the almost 30,000 of you who have already signed and shared my petition at terrordoctor.com, calling for real, tangible action, not just words and fake promises in the fallout of this chilling story. People are finally waking up, even though the silence from certain groups, including peak Islamic bodies, who cry Islamophobia on the daily and are quick to blame Jews for hate crime hoaxes like the Purgatory Fire, suddenly have nothing to say when two of their own are caught calling for the murder of people from another minority. And those Islamic organisations are not alone. Far left-wing politicians like Lydia Thorpe and Maureen Faruqi, who rant and rave about racism, are nowhere to be seen. And don't get me started on Senator Fatima Payman, who we've all become used to screeching hysterically about attacks on Muslims that often aren't even real. But when a refugee from Afghanistan, like her, with a nurse wearing a hijab, like hers, brags about murdering Jews and threatens to kill more, not a peep. They've all been exposed as frauds and can never be taken seriously again. But even many of those people who did speak out from the left, like the Prime Minister, couldn't bring themselves to cite the ideology behind the hate. A problem they don't seem to have when the perpetrators are white supremacists. Ironically, the only people who had direct, precise condemnation of the threat and a total support of the Australian Jewish community were people like Pauline Hanson, who all those who I just mentioned love to condemn as the racist. The perpetrators in this case were not Islamic extremists sitting in some radical mosque. They were nurses, paid to care for patients in an Australian public hospital.
You know what? Oh, shit.
How are you, man?
Good, how are you, my man?
Pretty good. Are you a nurse? A doctor?
I'm a doctor, my man.
A doctor? For what?
In hospital. What about you? Where you from?
I'm from Israel, from the Holy Land.
You know what? I'm gonna be really honest with you.
All right.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. You actually got a really, really beautiful eyes.
Thank you,
but
man.
I'm so upset that you're Israeli. Like, eventually you're gonna get killed and you're gonna go to Jahannam, inshallah. Like, these pretty eyes, they should stay in this world for longer.
Why do you think? Why do you think I'm gonna get killed?
It's Palestine's country, not your country. You piece
how
of
are you?
shit.
What's your name?
One day, your time will come and you will die the most.
We spread
listen to me.
peace.
Listen to me.
And you spread
when your
death.
time comes.
How are you doctors? Wait.
I want you to remember my face.
Okay,
so
okay.
You can understand
Gotcha.
That you will
I have a question though.
Disgusting death.
All right, for sure. I have a question though.
Yeah,
I have a question. Let's say an Israeli. God forbid.
I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You'll kill them? So if an Israeli is in Australia and God forbid something happened to him and he comes to your hospital, would you kill him?
You have no idea how many Israeli Khara dog came to this hospital and I sent him to Jahannam. I literally sent him to Jahannam.
When busted, one claimed it was all just a joke with dead Jews as the punchline. Pretty funny. Maybe to the Taliban. The other one who wanted the Jew to remember her face, well, now that the entire world know her face, she's suddenly the victim, suffering panic attacks protected by family, who turned violent against anyone daring to ask why she wants dead Jews.
Get the fuck off my property! I'm on public property. Right now! Why are you shit? Get the fuck off my property! I'm on public property. Do you have what do you have to say about the allegations that Sarah... Excuse me, Sarah... What are you guys have to say about? Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Well, I'm on public land.
That's fine.
Mate, what do you have to say about what Sarah said? Why not?
Because no one is welcome to my house.
Why is she threatening to kill Israeli people? She's admitted to killing Israeli people, man.
Was I on the phone?
Don't stop walking towards the... Mate. Listen to me, brother. All right. Okay. I need my phone back. Hey.
Yeah, imagine my shock Violent extremism clearly runs in that family's blood. But the truth is their views are mainstream in Western Sydney, let's not kid ourselves, and across other enclaves throughout the country.
I stand with them.
You stand with
Yes.
them? In what way?
In any way possible.
You stand with the fact that someone has threatened to kill and not treat a Jewish patient?
All right, and what about all the kids that Jews have killed?
That's why they're so comfortable expressing themselves that way. Everybody in their friendship circle, their neighbourhood, and yes, even their hospital talks like that. By the way, the intolerance is not just against Israelis or Jews. My inbox and comment section have been inundated with Aussies who have been discriminated against when they visited that particular hospital. But guess what? All the complaints by either the public or healthcare workers who were trying to raise the alarm were not only ignored, but the governing bodies sanctioned those who dared to speak out. Listen to this non-Jewish midwife's story.
See, the thing is this, I raised the alarm about this not long after October 7th happened, when nurses and midwives were chanting from the river to the sea while wearing New South Wales Health uniforms. I wrote an open letter to nurses and midwives explaining that this chant is a call for the annihilation of Jews and that they should not be shouting this genocidal chant, let alone whilst wearing New South Wales Health uniform. I also had meetings with AHPRA asking for something to be done about it in terms of regulation. But instead, what happened is this. AHPRA and the HCCC received 8 complaints about me, mostly about the post that I wrote, asking to have me deregistered. Whilst initially those complaints were dismissed, 2 of the complainants went on to ask for the review of the outcome, causing the HCCC to investigate and place formal corrective comments on my registration, all without my knowledge and without giving me my legal right of reply to these complaints. When I shared on Instagram about the rubbish complaints I was getting, all because I called on AHPRA to implement repercussions for staff who were wearing hospital uniforms while screaming out genocidal chants, not only did I have these formal corrective comments on my registration, but the sharing of what I was dealing with on Instagram with the people that followed me resulted in me getting a letter that mentioned consequences of jail time or demerit points. Now, this resulted in me needing lawyers to take it on to have those corrective comments removed from my registration and to get a formal apology from the HCCC for all of this nonsense and a clear statement that there was no threat of jail. But do you see what happened here? Do you see the double standards? I asked for the end of a genocidal chant by New South Wales Health staff while wearing their uniforms. Instead, I get formal corrective comments and threats of jail time. Then, New South Wales Health nurses actually make genocidal threats in black and white and claim that they've already started the process.
Today I've spoken to a few doctors who, out of fear, don't want to go public, but they all agree that yesterday's shocking video of nurses in uniform brazenly calling to murder Jews was a culmination of having zero consequences for registered professionals participating in any racist behaviour, including a group who formed just after the brutal October 7 attack.
And a group of colleagues of mine formed Nurses and Midwives for Palestine in October 2023. Maintain your rage. Continue to stand up to ensure these Zionist terrorists and their reprehensible actions are held to account.
Maintain your rage against the Zionist terrorists. Let that sink in from a group who formed before Israel even had the chance to mourn, let alone respond to the largest loss of Jewish life in a single day since the Holocaust. And he's definitely not alone. They have spent almost a year and a half marching the streets in their scrubs against Jews. There's even a group on Facebook that's been reported to AHPRA and ignored by AHPRA that's called Medical Mums and Mums-to-Be, with 14,000 members, which, just so you know, you have to prove you're a doctor to join. It was designed to be a networking group for doctors, with many Jewish doctors joining. Well, since October 7, 2023, it's turned into an anti-Semitic cesspool, with most Jews, at least those daring to defend themselves, being kicked out. So anyone paying attention is not surprised that here we are in 2025 with a couple of nurses from Western Sydney being caught saying the quiet part out loud, and the government making some promises that, even if fulfilled, doesn't go near far enough. So if you haven't done so already, head to terrordoctor.com to sign and share the petition, which demands 5 things. The first already done. Name and shame the pair, Ahmed Nadir and Sarah Abu Lebde. Secondly, that New South Wales Police laid charges, which they've indicated that they will do, and will hold them to account. We will ensure that they do that. In fact, I believe it's highly illegal to impersonate a doctor in Australia, so they could start there and move on to the incitement and threats to kill. 3, deregister them immediately. It's not good enough for them to just simply stand down these nurses from New South Wales Health. They need to be completely stripped of their registration so that they never are able to see a patient in this country again. And there's no reason why that can't happen today. 4, revoke the new citizenship and deport the unmasked Dr. Ahmed Nadir to Afghanistan. Australia is a welcoming nation. However, living here is a privilege. And those lucky enough to come to our nation need to respect all Australians and our laws. It's that simple. Finally, 5, investigate sick hospitals. Authorities have committed to investigating the history of only the 2 nurses there. That just won't cut it. We know this cancerous Jew hatred is widespread in our hospitals. In fact, Bankstown Hospital themselves have begun scrubbing their online history. So we need a full and thorough investigation to weed out others who pose a threat to our loved ones across the country. If you agree that every Aussie needs to understand the real threat our health system faces beyond just these 2 nurses who happen to get caught, make sure to like, comment, but most importantly, share this far and wide. And then make sure to head to terrordoctor.com to sign and share and reshare the petition. Terrordoctor.com, with your help, will get all 5 of those demands met.